I'm Kevin. This is episode 7 of Machine Shop Rescue. I This is my Christmas present. I showed my wife the ad for this in Craigslist, and she said, "Well, go buy it, and I'll pay for it." Well, I don't think that's going to happen, but what it is a Craftsman, uh, so Sears Craftsman power hacksaw. Found it on Craigslist, pretty good price. Seems to work great. Uh, whoever put this thing together um, didn't want it to fall apart. This thing has to weigh 300 pounds, and I would say 2/3 of it are the base. The base is at least half inch to 5/8 inch thick metal, 3-4 inches wide. You can see it's pretty substantial, and it's like I it took two of us, and the guy I bought it from was a big guy. He was over 6 feet tall and built like a lumberjack, we struggled to get it in. When he told me it's heavy, I didn't believe him, but I'm telling you, it's really heavy. Um, the way this works is that basically there's a motor on this side that uses a gear reduction. Well, actually, a belt reduction, and there's so the motor turns and then turns the shaft that goes through here, and then there's a pinion gear that's down here, which revolves the shaft and makes the saw oscillate in and out. There's a there's a vise on here, and it's pretty nice. It's got a bunch of serrated teeth so that you can adjust for thickness by lifting up on this. Now, and then it engages it, and there's another gear that. But let's put a piece of metal in there. Okay, I guess I gotta go in one more notch. There we go. The blade on this thing is really substantial. It's a Start blade, which is pretty expensive blade. That's a $13-14 blade. Probably. And what happens with this saw is that when the saw draws back, it's on the drawback cut. This machine was made for Sears by a company called Collet. So if you find a Collet power hacksaw, it's the same as this one, and they called it a Collet XL power hacksaw. Now, this machine was probably made late 40s, early 1950s. I mean, I saw an ad on one of the websites, the machinist websites. It was like $49 in 1952. Well, let's turn this thing on so you can see how it works. We'll pull this down. I'm not sure if this is the right way to operate it, but there we go. Put that saw blade down, and then we have an on-off switch over here. We'll flip this switch on. This is the first piece I've cut on this thing at home here. So let's see what happens. I guess I didn't tighten that up enough, did I? Now, what happens with this machine, the blade lifts up slightly on the forward stroke. I don't think I got this thing tied up tight enough in that vise. And if you see that belt flopping around back there, that belt's just about ready to go. Now, this is a fairly slow speed, and there's a manual that's online that tells you to change the pulley if you got steel or for aluminum. This is set here. It looks to be for like hardy, like not hardy steel, but like a 4140 type of a steel, like a tool steel. And there we go. One thing that it is missing is the automatic shut off. You just have to shut this off by flipping the switch. But if you look at this thing closely, I don't know if you can see it, but it lifts slightly on the upward stroke. If you look at the front bar, you'll see that it lifts up a little bit. And I do have another one of these that I showed like a couple weeks ago. Not the same one, but a real early one from 1912, which is a flat belt driven machine. Now, I think we're going to have to do some tuning up on this machine, but oh, this thing weighs a ton. This is the mechanism that raises the blade up as it's moving inward and outward. And I'm pretty happy to have this machine. It's unusual for me to bring home a machine that actually works, or recently actually works, but I'm pretty happy to have this. Now I got some extra time, so I want to show you something else. I used to work with this guy. His name was John Barone, and he was the manager of our model shop. And he had some interesting stuff. And as an apprentice in around World War I would say, don't tell him I said that, I would say probably in the 1960s, he made this indexing head for a 5C Collet. And it was one of those things, he was but close to retirement, and I told him, if you retire, he says, I'm getting rid of all my tools. And I said, John, if you get rid of that, this indexing head, I want it. And I ended up, just before he retired, he gave it to me. And this is, I mean, these guys made the box, made everything. So he made this little box. It's got the wrench, which is really kind of neat. And it's, I mean, you couldn't find a wrench this well made in a store. I mean, it's all first class. And these are the dividing keys, and these are like this one says it's for, this has got 28, I don't know how many notches are on this, but 1 to 28 it says. And then there's another one here. And John made all of these parts. You can see his name right there, John Barone. He was a good guy. I haven't talked to him in 8 years. I recently tried to send him an email because I was going to tell him I'm putting this on my YouTube channel, but he's got a new email address, and so these indexing, these dividing plates can be changed. But I mean, if you look at this, this is all first top rate machining. And then you can see this is where the indexing keys, the plates are connected. And let's put this down. And you can see this whole thing is the surface finish. If you can see, it's all spotted, and I mean, he did an incredible job on this block. Everything's to perfection. There's zero play in anything. And this unscrews. It's got a lot of threads on there, doesn't it? And then here's the plate, and those indexing plates can be changed. And you put a 5C collet in here, and put this back in, screw it down. And then to index this, you push down on this little button here. Push down on that button, and you turn it, and it snaps into the next. There you go. Well, there goes that ring. Now it was perfect until I got near it. And you can see that when you push this down, that lifts that up. And then you put it to whatever position you want it. And then you machine your part, and then there you go. So he also gave me a little 3-jaw chuck right here. And I'm pretty happy to have that. Actually, I got two chucks from him, and my intention was to put that on that Stark lathe that I showed a couple weeks ago, that little lathe right there. And so I don't know if I'm going to turn a collet for that that fits in the collet head, or just put a shank in it. The rear, ooh, there it goes. Well, like I said, this stuff wasn't really good shape until it got near me. This one just has a hole and a little screw that holds it on. And I think this is the company that made this was made by Sun. So there we go. Episode 7 of Machine Shop Rescue. Kevin, if you want to get in touch with me, it's KRACHUK2001 at yahoo.com.